Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a bit since I did this. I was studying for a test and I kind of shut myself off from my YouTube channel to kind of give myself more time to study. It worked because I passed. Um, and now that I'm back, I want to get back to looking over some Chris Chan. Always interesting. And now we're talking about one of his Sonichu characters, Blake. The idea guys were here. Chris was brainwashed into believing that Blake became an Islamic extremist who saw Osama bin Laden as a hero. An illustration of the character in Sonichu's 13 showcases him in a trench coat and fedora with an ISIL/ISIS flag in his possession. That's fantastic. He was cloned from Sonichu's DNA with an accidental dose of cherry cola. In Giovanni's evil lab, Blachu, also known as Blake, can run as fast as Sonichu, but they don't see spark to spark. What the fuck does that mean? Blake, originally called Black Sonichu and occasionally Blachu, Chris's creativity, guys, it's just fantastic. Is a Sonichu and was once the arch nemesis of Sonichu. He is also inexplicably Bubbles Rosechu's boyfriend and later husband outside of the comic canon. However, for some reason, Blake and Bubbles decide to hide it from all their friends, not knowing that their friends already knew about their relationship. He rips off three characters, Shadow the Hedgehog, Pikachu, and Mewtwo. How does he rip off Mewtwo? Like, I know how he rips off Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic and Pikachu, but how does he rip off Mewtwo? I don't know. Despite effectively being yet another recolor of Sonichu, Blake is not a part of the chaotic combo due to being a clone of Sonichu Prime. He does heavily associate with him after he stops being a villain in spite of this. Okay, conception. While Chris has taken care to inform us of the precise states in which he conceived of Sonichu and Rosechu, he did not do the same for Blake. We can safely deduce that he was not conceived as at a point later than July 24th, 2002, since on said day, Chris made a homemade card of Blake, then called Black Sonichu. The idea of Blake seemed to have welled up as a device for Chris to cope with his feelings of anger by externalizing them. Several months before creating his Black Sonichu card, he experimented with the Dark Christian card to express jealousy of Harry Potter and an Evil Energy card. As early as 2000, he had devised a Dark Sonichu card for whenever Sonichu was full of anger. In the coming years, he would make similar attempts to project his own feelings of discomfort into cartoon doppelgangers with Nate Cirque and Crystal. In early to mid 2003, with the beginning of his love quest, Black Sonichu increasingly came to represent his jealousy of the jerks and his self-identification as a virgin with rage. The Sonichu canon was a clear case of wish fulfillment. The whole comic is wish fulfillment, and Blake is just one more example of it, apparently. And Blake stood for everything which interfered in those wishes. On discovering that Sarah Hammer was going out with Wes Isley, Chris imagined a fantasy world where he, Sonichu, was the beloved sweetheart of Sarah Rosechu, and the villainous Black Sonichu was the jealous Wes who stalked the lovers. Wow, I didn't actually catch that. That actually makes a lot of sense, because the first comic Chris ever made, as they said right here, the same theme was played out in the very first classic Sonichu strip, completed on the 3rd of January 2004. The truth is, and in that, and I forgot to mention, in that comic strip, it's like basically Sonichu and Rosechu are just out for a walk, like probably on a date, and Black Sonichu's just watching them for some reason. Like, it's really weird, but I never actually made the connections to his thing with Sarah Hammer and Wes Isley. Gotta feel bad for Wes Isley, though, having this fucking weirdo like making comics about you because you took his girl. The truth is that while it's common to speak of Sancho as Chris's Mary Sue, which all of the characters are Mary Sue's, like I don't think there's one character that isn't. It would be more accurate to say that Chris's emotional state in these years was actually embodied in Blake. Only later would Blake evolve into a blatant ripoff of Shadow the Hedgehog, starting out as Sonichu's nemesis, but later becoming an ally. In the comics, Sonichu, issue 1. He first appeared in issue 1, episode 4. Dr. Robotnik was attempting to clone Sonichu, and the clone process was corrected by an accidental dose of cherry cola spilled by Bill the scientist. The soda in his DNA changed his fur color to black and red. I don't know how that works, but okay. This makes him an obvious ripoff of Shadow the Hedgehog. Shortly after being created, he was ordered to kidnap Rosechu, Sonic, and Sonichu. Thwarted this plan much to his chagrin. As punishment for kidnapping her, Rosechu punched him in the face and knocked some of his teeth out, showing what a pussy he really is. When hedgehogs meet, Blake is ordered to steal the legendary Master Sonichu by Giovanni because Blake is his bitch. Easily overpowering Flame the Sunbird, he jumps on his hoverboard and escapes with Flame in pursuit. During the chase, he somehow manages to pass and piss off almost every single member of the soon-to-be-formed chaotic combo. Sonichu himself jumps into the mix, and every last one of them gangs up on Blake and beats the ever-loving crap out of him. Fair fighting, What a bunch of great baby faces, just ganging up on the heel 1 to 5 or 6. Or actually 7 because that fucking bird was with them. Sonichu at number 5. In issue 5, Blake accidentally refers to Nate Cirque as his father while mistaking him for Quick. Redneck Natsu Nate Cirque wears a Blake medallion that allows him to transform into an evil electric hedgehog Pokemon. Sonichu number 6. Blake is dismayed to see that Nate Cirque has become Redneck Attack. After robbing stores with him, Blake complains to Sonichu and Magician about how he was really mean to him, insulting him all the time and putting whipped cream in his rocket boots. Blake then allows the readers to see that he has the hots for Bubbles, in spite of her helping the chaotic combo beat 7 shades of crap out of him. Episode 18 prologue. On March 21st, Bubbles celebrates Blake's birthday alone with him. They share a kiss after explaining how Blake has the maturity of a 20-year-old despite being cloned only 4 years ago. Spring break. Blake approaches Rosechu, Angelica, and Bubbles while they sunbathe on the beach and kicks sand in their faces to make him look badass. You know, like the mature guy he is. Because seriously, was he a kid? Bubbles steps up to deal with this jerk. She restrains him and leads him away from the others to be alone with him. The other two Roshus think it's cute that they pretend not be a couple. Really? I think it's fucking stupid. Bubbles and Blake agree to have sex under a pier after she finds the Sonichu ball. Unfortunately for Blake, Sylvana then takes the form of Bubbles so she can rape him just for laughs. Bubbles finds the Sonichu ball, but not in time to save Blake. Quick defense. Quickville is attacked by the PVCC, and fighting ensues all over the city. On the waterfront, Blake and Bubbles defeat an entire fleet of SAVs, or scoundrels of vessels, then proceed to kiss afterwards. Later on, at the end of the episode, they're seen outside the Quickville shopping center along with the rest of Chris's electric hedgehog Pokemons and the respective partners. Blake and Bubbles are holding hands, suggesting that they're no longer hiding their relationship from the rest of the public, like they were doing a really good job of that. Christian Chandler and Director of Amenities. As this was the episode in which Chris's narcissism has reached its pinnacle, it is more fitting for it to also be the story in which Blake completed his transformation into just another one of Chris's pawns. Despite becoming a full-fledged good guy, Blake's propensity towards evil in this episode is greater than ever. After returning from the Tide Void, Chris orders Blake and Punchy to go outside of the Force Ant garbage building where he and Sonichu will meet them later. Once all the members of Christian and the Hedgehog Boys get together, they proceed to destroy the Force Ant garbage building by playing the song Revive Zordon in its proximity. Hundreds endure death and injury as the building collapses, making Blake and the rest of his bandmates mass murderers. Later on, the episode's plot is briefly narrated for Chris to make a non-apology to the LGBTQ community and other readers he had offended. Blake is standing next to him along with Bubbles, Sonichu, and Rosechu, suggesting that his status with Chris's entourage has risen considerably. Blake's next appearance is in the mayor's office, where he joins the rest of Chris's goons in ranting against the Astropedia 4. He is later seen in the episode and in Sonichu altogether. He is standing next to Bubbles, which she presses one of the 10 buttons needed to activate the electric chair in which Alex is strapped. Blake stares at Alec with indignant rage, despite having a rap sheet far worse than that of a doomed comic creator. Future episodes. In a blog post from January 2010, Chris writes about a planned episode for Sonichu that will focus on Blake. Wikipedia biography. The only differences are the color, shoes, and that this one is more evil. Chris informing us that Sonichu is also evil to some degree, and that Sonichu and Blake have less in common than Sonichu and any other Sonichu. According to Wikipedia's entry on Blake, he was created on March 22nd, 1999, following the battle between Sonichu and Nate Cirque Giovanni in August 12, 1998. It cited that it took a while to rebuild the cloning machine, most likely referring to Mewtwo's escape in Pokemon the first movie. I've never seen it, so I can't say. Through the help of Bill the scientist, Jerry Cola is spilled into the DNA, which causes Sonichu to turn black. 4 months later, Black is primed to battle Sonichu, although his first battle goes sour even when with the arrival of Metal Sonichu. Blake would continue to do some evil, stealing the Master Sunstone and the like. It's said that he enjoyed the rush of villainy, but at the same time started regretting it. Everything would change for Black Sonichu when Black Sonichu prepared to capture Sonichu and Rosechu during their wedding. There, when he would see Bubbles Rosechu for the first time, he was so enamored over her that he didn't fire the neck gun he was intending to capture the two with when he wanted to, and when he did, he missed completely. He would learn her name through one of the programs for the wedding. The two would meet again until Nate Cirque transformation into Redneck. When they did meet, Bubbles ended up chewing out Blake for a good 15 minutes. What? Not accustomed to criticism, Blake did an emotional 180 and just broke down and cried like the baby he was, begging for forgiveness. Bubbles accepted and began forming a bond with him. Over ice cream, Blake introduced himself as Black Sonichu, but Bubbles hated a name like that, so she named him Blake, after a star's name. When was this? Is this just a blog post, or was this in a comic, too? Because this feels like something he could have put in a comic. When coming into contact with the 7 Sonichu balls, or with the 7 Chaos Emeralds upon which the Sonichu balls were based, Blake can temporarily transform into Silver Blotchu. Silver's powers are very similar to those of Ultra Sonichu. Sonichu's own temporary transformation, which is induced by the 7 Sonichu balls. Silver is identical to Blake in physical appearance, with the exception of having gray fur rather than black. Is he really that common? Because his hair doesn't look like Silver's. In Mailbag 31, Chris refers to Blake as a deep individual. He hasn't given us any explanation as to what makes him deep, either in the comic or in this Wikipedia article. Like all other Sonichus, he is flat, boring, and only interested in fucking. He is the only slightly interesting Sonichu because of his Domus fruit, which is completely ignored once he turns to the good side. And there's the brief moment where Blake comments on Chris's man boobs. Yes, Blake? Begging your pardon, miss, but nice rack. Thanks, Blake, but don't get any ideas. Name. Originally, Blake was just referred to as Black Sonichu or Blotchu, but Chris decided to change the name so that he would look like less of a bigoted racist jerk, which doesn't really work when he makes dating, like accounts on dating sites where it specifically says he doesn't want to date a black woman and no black woman. So that doesn't really help, but it's nice he tried. Why he is suddenly called Blake is never revealed. Chris assumed that everyone would understand why his name is now Blake, so everyone just goes with it. Chris, in the Wikipedia article on Sonichu, finally provided the reason why Black Sonichu became Blake, because Blake felt like it. This is later retconned into saying that Bubbles gave him the name, which I think is a lot better, so at least he did that right. Some argue that Chris is indeed ripping off Jimmy Hill's incarnation of Black Sonichu, who was named Blake for some time before Chris started using Blake. Really? Okay. Despite going to great lengths to use the retcon names in the official video books, such as Nicole Rammer for Sarah Hammer, Chris still uses Blake's original name in most of Sonichu Zero and Sonichu No 1. Love Quest. In episode 18, it is revealed that Blake has a secret romance with Bubbles and they have sex with raincoats and don't let the rest of Quickville know. To cover up their relationship, they pretend to fight and he acts like an ass. At the end of the episode, he gets raped by a shape-shifting hermaphrodite named Sylvana. This rape is meant to be a metaphor representing Chris being trolled by men and pretending to be women online. I didn't get that either. I just thought it was a stupid plot point. Interestingly enough, in Chris's imagination, Bubbles and Blake were married on July 4, 2009 in Angelica's church. This indicates that despite Blake's failure to control his own libido, Bubbles forgave him and everyone lived happily ever after. And there is a very racist depiction of Black Sonichu. Black Sonichu's black, y'all. But I remember he actually hates being called like black. It's so weird. But yeah, that's Blake Sonichu, one of the many not interesting characters on the Quickie. Not interesting characters in Sonichu. So thanks again for watching, guys. Sorry this is late, but some stuff outside of life is more important. So I'll see you guys next time.